pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Neil.
Glad everybody's here with good humor, I understand, so. First thing we have is the agenda. Is there anything that we need to add or delete to the agenda?
Now I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
And I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda presented. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, agenda approved. Minutes, the minutes of the Wednesday, August 24th meeting attached. Are there any additions or corrections or?
I just have a question. Did we meet in a regular adjourned session or a special adjourned session?
I don't know, I kinda went back.
If it
and looked.
matters.
I never saw a special, the only special one I ever saw was that, alcohol, or that permit we passed,
Met an emergency session,
Yeah.
I think. it was
yeah,
called
I
that day.
never saw a special one, but.
Okay,
we
and
could
I'm just
certainly
asking.
put
It
that.
doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to be sure. Due to protocol. If there's no other concerns, then I think they read well, and so I'd make a motion to approve them.
I'll second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve minutes as presented. Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, let's vote on that then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. Okay, first item on the agenda is the MediaCom right of entry agreement. And we just had the entry of Carl Wilburn, so
Good morning, Carl.
Morning, Carl. Morning, Carl.
tell us all about it.
Well, I can't tell you a lot about it, other than MediaCom contacted us, and they're evidently putting in fiber to most all the businesses. And we aren't obligated to get service from them, but they want to have a right of entry agreement, and then we would have them notify us before they came on the property. We already get some MediaCom services with cable through jail. So I don't know that would actually come in that way, but they just want an agreement to let them put their service to the building, and then if any time in the future we decided we wanted to use their service, it would be there. Not a bad idea as far as from my perspective to have that backup there. We never know what the future is for the equipment on our tower, so it would be nice to have it there available if we ever needed backup.
There's, as I understand, no cost or any inconvenience to us, and there's potential benefit to us as a user as well if we decide to use more of their services.
So would they just dub it to the outside of the building or to the inside?
I don't know if they're coming all the way inside. I would imagine they're gonna come inside and just put it at that
Cap it
point,
off.
and then, yeah.
Did they provide us with any written form of the agreement?
Yeah, there's an agreement here.
Have you had a chance to review it?
Yeah, I've looked at it a couple of times. It's, they pretty much hold us harmless on everything, and they take the liability and no obligation on our part to do anything.
Automatic renewal?
It's just a right of entry. Yeah, and then it would be, they'd be able to come in and service the equipment if they had equipment on site.
Do you have any idea where they bring it in at this point?
I'm not sure where they come in to the building now. I don't know if
Okay.
that would make a difference, but I would almost think they'd probably come in the same area that Western Iowa Networks is coming in, so.
Okay.
Right now, the equipment on the tower comes into that equipment room out on the end of the garage.
Right.
That I'm not sure where they come in with their current service. But they would have to do all the locating of all the
Lines.
utilities coming in and make sure they can get through there.
Okay, I've seen those agreements before on other property, and I think I understand what they're about. And I would
approve the right of entry agreement with MediaCom.
I will second that motion. Okay, we have a MediaCom right of entry agreement. Is there any more discussion, or do you need to look at it some more, Mark, or anything? Okay.
No, I just got to kind of speed reading it, but I mean, I haven't found anything that much really concerning it. It refers to equipment at the premises, not so much in the premises or to the premises. It's at the premises, so it's pretty general. And you say we have services to the jail already with MediaCom?
Right, we have cable services.
Cable service.
Oh, that's, yeah, cable service.
Okay.
There's probably not a problem with
Any other questions or discussion on the motion to approve the MediaCom right of entry agreement? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
One abstention.
Okay, motion carries 4-0, one abstention.
it. Thanks, Carl. Have a good week.
Signature there. I'll fill in the rest.
Okay.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
All right. Let's move to the next item, which is Mallard View discussion. I think we need to continue discussion on that. We, of course, know what the background is. We've got notice that they'll be vacating the facility at the end of the year. It's a big building. We've gotten some floor sketches or floor plan, very general of it. And we've kind of been spectators on all of this. As we collect information, I think we need to get on the offense and take some action. And I have some ideas, and more than anything, I'm looking for ideas. Asked around a lot for suggestions. There's been all kinds of suggestions on people we should contact and potential uses, everything from nursing home, substance abuse recovery center, assisted living, college dormitory, affordable housing, daycare center, doctor's office, or business office center. It could be done a lot of things. I'd formally said that the building had few uses, but after reconsideration, I would say that it has multiple uses, but does not have a very flexible floor plan, or it's a low traffic location too, which could be good or bad. So I don't know where you guys want to go with this, but we just can't sit and watch. What I would, the direction I was thinking about is, I think we should contact some people who may be interested in the facility, whether it be St. Gregory and Baird, or Family Recovery, or find out who has nursing homes in the area, hospitals, and see what interest they have. At our county planning meeting, Rick and Chris said that they would be glad to do an RFP or talk to us about doing one. And what that would amount to is they would kind of get a proposal together, or accept proposals from people who wanted to purchase or rent the facility, and then kind of sort through that and see if we could get an agreement on something. Another thought I had is to advertise it extensively and contact a lot of people and put it out for sealed bids with the right of refusal. I think the difficult part for me is to establish a price if we'd want to sell it, and we haven't made that decision, or rent it. You know, someone asked me, well, I'm interested because I'd like to do a certain use on it. What do you want for it? I couldn't answer that question. And sealed bids is a little bit risky, but people that put in a sealed bid, you know, they're gonna be conservative. They're gonna wanna be sure they get a good buy, but wouldn't wanna be so low that somebody else got it, you know, that they missed out on a good buy. And we'd want the right of refusal on that. So, just as a starting point, what would you think about contacting a lot of people? We should get a brochure or something that has pictures of it and shows the floor plan, et cetera, and selling it. And we haven't even made the decision to sell it. There's a possibility we could rent it. pretty open forum, but this is just one perspective that let's vet it out. If it's a bad idea, let's.
I think this RFP is a good idea. And send it out to all those people that you mentioned. The problem is if we do wind up selling it and we do get someone that's gonna be interested in it, do we understand the code, we would have to go out and then offer that to the public? Anybody that wanna bid above and beyond that price. Remember, we've done that several times on some properties we've sold.
We just had straight auctions, Gene, we've never gone through this
But I think that,
RFP.
but first we had to have a proposal from someone.
Okay, I'm not aware of that, but I do remember that conducting an auction, I was the chairperson when we
Mhm.
auctioned off some properties here.
When we did the old post office.
Yeah,
And we had,
county
we
shed.
had an offer, but we had to go offer that available to the public to set that price.
Okay.
But, and at that time, I don't think we had anybody else bid on it. But I think the RFPs is gonna be a good avenue to do that. I think probably another thing, maybe we ought to have the chamber put it on their
Website.
website for
Absolutely.
buildings.
Sure.
And, you know, who knows what's out there? I mean, maybe we may have, and I think one thing about what I like with that proposal is we can look at different options and we don't have to sell. Maybe we might be renting it out again or doing something else or swapping or who knows?
I agree with Gene with the RFP. I think with the seal bid thing, from the stories I've heard of past history on county facilities of them selling, I think, I think you're gonna lowball yourself, especially the one we heard about in Mahaska County.
Yeah, and if I ever told you guys, Mahaska County told me up at Humboldt, they just disposed of the building. And it was only 50 years old, and they got $600.
I know the Manila
And
schools.
the only reason they sold it was because they had to tear it down. It's gonna cost more to count asbestos.
I think the Manila school sold for like $1 or something, or $100. It was just a pittance of money. And that's a different facility too, of course, but I certainly think this, due to its location and layout, is more value than a school by all means, but you never know. If that is the wishes of the board, and I know we're just starting a discussion, we should probably have them in here next Monday and explaining what they would do and what the RFP is all about. And if they've done that before, we could certainly do that. Other ideas, other discussion?
You know, I'm viewing this as a green light thinking session where we, you know, green light means, you know, we take all ideas. They might
Absolutely.
be good or bad, but we don't know
Sure.
that at this
Yeah.
point.
It'll start somewhere.
But, you know, we just kind of throw everything on a whiteboard and then we can vet the process, you know, as we go down the line. But I too like the RFP. I liked it when we had the county planning session. I thought that was very bright and intelligent of them to suggest that. You know, I think perhaps as finding a place to start, that our own assessor's office, you know, might be of some value. I realize she's new and probably lacks some experience in terms of appraisals, but we have our own resource right there that at least she can ask around and talk to. We have, you know, several $100,000 worth of business with some appraisers. I would think they would at least grant us an opinion on what something is worth, but I would suggest that we have some dialogue with our own assessor's office. Neil, I told you Friday that, you know, coming from that planning session, that I contacted just a couple of developers on Friday. I mean, I just got started, but I spoke to 2 developers just to gauge their interest in it. And, you know, I'd be glad to continue down that path as well. And I had mentioned it would likely go to a RFP. You know, I think, back on your, if we get to sealed bids, it might require a public hearing, I would bet.
Well, I think it's called a public hearing, but then I think if you only have one.
Which is
bid-
fine,
I think if
but-
you only have one bid, to make sure that that is a legitimate, what the value is according to state, you have to open it up to someone to counter offer that.
Right.
And that's where we come in with the auction.
You know, it was mentioned, you know, about contacting the schools due to its location, and I just didn't get to make that call Friday, but, you know, I'd be glad to give Rob a call on Monday, and maybe they're having some meetings about space concerns or something like that, that maybe that type of facility might lend itself to them as well, so I'll call the schools and see if they would have any interest in it as well, but, green light is what I'm thinking right now.
When I previously said as few uses, then I started thinking a little bit, I thought of businesses or entities like New Opportunities, DHS, Home Shield, our attorneys, telemarketers, et cetera, they all consist of offices and cubicles, and that is what this thing could be developed into. So there could be quite a few businesses that could use it, you know, and because it's got a lot of small rooms, you know, a lot of rooms that each one could be an office, maybe, I don't know.
You know, due to its location and, you know, sometimes confidentiality and out of sight too, I thought of Plains. You know, like I really want to go back into business with them, but if it's to sell it, you know, I might consider that.
Yeah. As far as the value, the only thing I thought of, or one thing I did think of, is a potential buyer may be concerned about the property taxes that they would get along with the purchase of that size. And so that is where I think our assessor would come in, is I think a potential buyer should have a good idea of what the property taxes would be before they put the bid in. And I don't know how accurate it would be to look at other nursing homes in the area or similar buildings and see what they have for an assessment, but that would be a good start, I think.
And I would agree with the RFP. I like that idea. It makes developers, businesses aware of what we've got. And I think it's a good way to start, at least start that way.
One thing that I'm really concerned about, or that is incumbent upon us, is getting the word out. I'll just take, we're kind of in a little bubble here, so to speak. Like, let's just take St. Gregory's at Barrett. They may or may not have an interest in it, but somebody's got to get the word to them, or they're not just going to read about this in the paper unless they're looking for it. Because there could be a lot of people out there like that, thinking, hey, I can sure use a bunch of offices or something like, or substance abuse, but where do I go? The advertising and getting the word out is going to be so very important, so it just doesn't get missed by some potential.
I was planning to
developers.
call St. Gregory's, and I'd be glad to do that.
That'd be
you know,
great.
and, you know, if anybody had any other suggestions or ideas, I mean, I'd be glad to make the calls. That's maybe a question I might have for you, is do you see this as a, you know, a five-person effort, or do you want to see someone kind of channel everything through one person, or?
Kind of group effort.
I thought that maybe we could have a list of things to contact, and each of us could contact somebody different as a thought. Maybe once, for example, the idea's been brought up about college dormitories. None of us have, you know, somebody should talk to DMAC. Maybe the option of a nursing home. Maybe somebody should contact all the nursing homes in the area and find out if there's a Iowa Nursing Homes Association website or something where the word could get out that there's a space will be available. It could be a committee, or it could be this board of supervisors, along with the auditor, who's responsible. What's your responsibility, Courtney, for all the physical?
Responsibility of the building
Under
upon
the-
the direction of the board. so.
Under the director of the board, so we need to work very closely with our auditor on this as well. I look at it as a group of 6 here working on it. But that's just my venture. Obviously, you could hire a realtor and have them handle everything. I think, so,
Well,
I'm still with the anything goes
And that's
discussion
what's
here.
good about the RFP, is it leaves us open all the options.
Mhm.
And we can sort through and take one. If we like it, we like it. And somebody might come up with some unique option that we think, hey, this is a need for the community.
But to Neil's point, how does and of course, maybe we can find this out from the Region 12 guys, but how does the word get out about the RFP, other than just posting it in the newspaper and then it's sorted out through the media?
Well, I think I think a good idea would be if we sat down with a list of who we think, and then we split up some names, you know, some nursing homes or some association. Probably instead of calling nursing homes, because they may not want competition, call their association.
Well, don't we mail out the RFPs?
That's what I was
But
wondering.
to who? That's
to
my
anybody
point.
that you might think would be, have an interest.
I think
We might get more information if we invite Rick and Chris here and give us some more information on the
Guidance.
RFP and say, you know, and have them answer these questions for us. Do you have access to a list? Are we gonna have them, are we gonna give them the green light as to go ahead on something like this? And
I'm leaning
That's
toward
for-
the RFP, and I mean,
Yeah.
they'd be the suitable ones to write it and, you know, process it through, but.
Let's invite them to our meeting on Monday, have them explain what they could do for us for an RFP. and-
Are we meeting on Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday
yes.
next week.
The meeting will be on Tuesday, that's correct. It'll be on Tuesday, the 6th.
But I think that's a good way to start anyway. I really, you know, let's find out what they can actually do for us. Because that might save a lot of legwork on our part. I mean, not that we can't go out and try to move this property ourselves, but at least they're gonna give us some direction and.
Well, and who knows, well, as we walk through the community, we may have a constituent come up and give us an idea of just through our conversation, hey, did you think of this? I think we need to follow it. Who knows?
We still have a building up in Breda that was offered for sale for $1. That's still sitting up there.
What building?
This high school,
High school.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, but I think the RFP is a good place to start.
Okay, we will contact Rick and Chris and have them see if hopefully they can be here on the Tuesday, the 6th, and explain the RFP thing. Is there any other things we should be doing this week in addition to that?
You want me to continue with my calls?
You know, as far as that goes, my feeling is it couldn't do anything but help. Just get the word out, get people thinking about it, and it's a big building. It's not something people want to make a quick decision on, so if they can hash it over in their mind for another week or two, all the better.
I really don't consider that building an albatross by any stretch. I really don't.
Well, I would like to think not, but you know.
I mean, we've kept it up, they've kept it up. I'm like you, thinking initially it was just a kind of a singular use. There's more than just one use for it. So.
I would agree.
I think the thing is, it's probably not the best for a retail that wants a lot of high-traffic area.
Right.
But, you know, even for attorneys or city offices or something like that, it would look great because it's not a real busy location. You can get to it and back, and it's close to town. A lot of offices already put up there if that's what you want.
Okay.
And the 3 wings, it could be used multiple purposes too. The right entrepreneur could farm that out to different ways, you know. So, okay.
Just one thought that I did have. I mean, the way the discussion is going right now, we're probably not looking at going that direction for a possible jail.
I think that facility, and Neil and I kind of talked about, it would be way too much to convert it.
Here's what I think about that. It's not totally out of the question, but it would cost so much to retrofit, bring it up to code, that if I was gonna spend that money, I would bring our current jail and the courthouse up to code instead. That's kind of my thought on that. And I've not
Okay.
talked to the jail committee on it, that's just a thought I had. I was, because the current jail has the convenience of being close to the courtroom and the sheriff's office and all that, so you'd lose that going out there. So, it's not totally out of the question, but either place, you're gonna have to spend quite a bit to bring it up to code. And this is just my thoughts, not the.
Sure, I'm just vetting all
the whole
options.
The whole committee
you know.
hasn't voted or even discussed this, Dean.
It's still a good question. Is it reasonable to assume that the jail committee would at least have enough, you know, what's my word for, you know, carnal knowledge to at least, be in a position to exclude that facility by the end of the year?
I think we'll by the end of the year. I wouldn't exclude it at this point. Gene, what do you think? You're in the same. or-
No, I think it's an option, but I think it's towards the bottom, and I agree with what he's saying, it's going to retrofit it. But, you know, it's.
Wouldn't be my primary choice to
No.
up and move the sheriff's office out there for sure, because, you know, here we've been placing a lot of emphasis, and it's come up in our county planning, that courthouse security still
Security.
seems to be a priority, and we would be losing our frontline defense for security if.
I wouldn't rule it out altogether, okay?
But
Okay.
not likely, is it?
Not likely.
I don't think so either. One other thing
And
about.
you know what, if once we go out there and do an inventory and I actually see the facility, and I mean, I know kind of facility, but I think that might make a bigger difference on me.
That I want to talk about now. We're all talked to them about taking a walkthrough tour out there. Thursday, September 8th at 1 o'clock is what time would work great for Sherry? Thursday, September 8th at 1 o'clock. I want to have the whole board out there. I think we'll handle it like a road tour. We'll all go out rather than just two people and look at it. And obviously, we're going to ask a lot of questions. We certainly have to be careful that we don't make any decisions while we're out there. Those need to be made in a public session here, that type of thing. But, and then I also,
Go figure, that's the only thing I have scheduled that week.
Yeah.
pardon me?
Oh, we have our courthouse anniversary meeting scheduled for 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I've got 4 things all in September, and I got 2 things on that date, so.
Wondered if,
The
What time are you thinking?
1 o'clock. And
unless we
I,
move that
We can
meeting.
move the other
What do you
meeting.
have going on later that day?
I'm gonna be in Lake City at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I think I'll be done out of there by noon, but, so I think it'll
is
work.
this that,
WMA.
but at the city hall in Lake City, yeah, that's why I wanted it in the afternoon that day as opposed to the morning.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Megan Olin as well. I thought we should look at what the space she's in to get a full perspective, and that time works
I think
for
we can do
her.
that. We'll just move
Or
it.
it's like to 3
Yeah.
or something.
I told her it'd be around 2 when we're ready, done with everything else, just guessed an hour, and she's gonna be, that'll work for her as well, so. We'll just plan on a meeting out there at 1 o'clock on Thursday, September 8th at 1 o'clock. I think we should probably post it as a regular meeting, as we would a regular meeting, because if somebody from the public wanted to join us, they could. So that'll be,
And it's advertising.
that'll be just 2 days after, hopefully we have the RFP information on the Tuesday before that, so it'll all fall together pretty good. Okay, all right. Anything else on Mallard View that we need to discuss? Obviously, it's gonna be on the meeting.
Question?
A couple questions.
Yeah, question.
Before you do the RFP, should you do a little groundwork on what is part of that? You might want to carve out for a tower, say,
Yeah.
you want to cover that ground before they throw everything car out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that
I
last
think
week.
so,
Yeah.
and,
That. And then the other thing I wanted, moving the jail and moving the sheriff's office are 2 different things, so I think keep that in mind also.
Mhm.
We've got a pretty good aerial here that I drew out. I went out there and drew where the supports are, and that's something we'd need to do is just carve out the area that we'd be interested in selling for the RFP, and it would not include the tower, but we'd have a mutual driveway.
We might, yeah.
So, okay. And maybe with an RFP, someone would want more ground or less ground, so
Correct.
there's some flexibility there, I think we'll have to take into consideration. Any other questions on this item of discussion from the public while we're still on it? Okay. Okay, I will contact Rick and Chris then and try to line them up for next meeting. Okay. At 9:30, we're gonna skip over number 3 just for a moment, because it's 9:30. And Dave, why don't you, we got a Arcadia shed we're gonna talk about here.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave.
Public hearing on the Arcadia shed.
Okay.
And
It's a 9:30, so I'm gonna open the public hearing on the Arcadia shed. Go ahead, Dave.
Purpose is to hear any objections or any comments on the plans, specifications, the contract, and the estimated cost. I have a copy of the plans here. They're in preliminary form first, but pretty close to final. The specs, the cost, we're expecting to run in the same range that the Manning did with our in-kind work, around 135. The actual bid, I'm hoping, will come in less. We've got a proposed letting date right now that hasn't been set or approved and might be premature to even do. I just wrote in just for filling in the blank of January 9th at 10 a.m. of 2017.
One more time, January.
January 9th, 10 a.m. of 2017. I suspect we could set that as a date to shoot for. It's quite a ways off at this time. If we approve it, the shop is a 40 by 50 steel building. Gonna look a lot like that. It's a picture of the Manning shed, so it should be kind of a dead ringer for it. I do have a copy of the plans to pass around.
And Dave, no demo work, right? We're gonna leave the existing shed.
Leave the
We're gonna go
existing
next
shed,
door.
and we're showing the existing shed on the cover sheet too. It's not the prettiest shed in the world, but maybe if we could spruce it up a little bit, it'd make a pretty good storage shed and wouldn't be too offensive to the neighbors around there. I think they're kind of excited to have our new shed there. Maybe that will take up some of the room that some other uses have been taken up, because we're kind of in a residential area.
The Manning shed, we did the wiring. Are we gonna do wiring and or plumbing here?
We'll do wiring, not much plumbing, just the wiring to plumbing. So it'll be basically exactly the same thing as we did at the Manning shed. It seemed to work out real good. And with the wiring, Rod did that, and he likes doing it. It just works out great.
Didn't we blow some insulation down there too?
We're gonna put in the bats, at least that's what we did, as far as coordinating the liner and whatnot. I talked to one contractor and I asked him if we could maybe do foam on it, and he said his building company, the company that he builds for, would void the warranty on the steel if we spray foam on it. So, well, we better probably not do that. And
Probably holds in moisture, doesn't it?
I'm not really sure, but we did the foam on the others, and we're pretty satisfied with the energy conservation that we got from that. And they seem to be our warmest buildings. Well, we're gonna put a foot of insulation in the ceiling of this one and 8 inches in the sides. So hopefully it'll be pretty energy efficient.
Could you use, it's a little more expensive, is the blow-in insulation that has the glue in it?
I haven't even thought about it.
Because that's, a lot of the houses, that's what they do anymore with that, is it's kind of like the vermiculite insulation, they just blow it in the sidewall. There's a kind of a glue mix that they put with it when they put it, and they just shave it down. It's not as tight as the spray foam.
Yeah, I don't know with a metal building
If it hold or not, I'm not sure.
how you would do that, yeah.
So we got the spray foam in a couple of buildings.
3 of them.
But those are
And-
the older buildings,
Those
right?
are older.
Yeah.
Oh, those are older
What he's saying
buildings.
with the steel, it looked like.
Oh, so you didn't do that in Manning then?
No,
Okay.
no, we used those bats. There's a. We're calling for something similar to the Simple Saver system. It's something like they used out at Baumgar's. They used it as a retrofit there. But this would be sandwiched between our wall panels and our roof panels, and pretty well fill up the entire void and have a moisture barrier along with it.
I just had a contractor ask about that on Saturday, I guess. I'd stopped on Thursday to look at these, but I didn't catch you in.
Yeah, I heard that you stopped. Sorry, I missed you.
Clinton, Manning.
So, if we put it out to bids, it'll be advertised in the paper.
Be advertised in the paper and
And then-
trade magazines or trade association that we can find
Right.
for that. I'm not sure with that new law, if we have to do that with vertical infrastructure. I'll have to check that out before we get to that point. Proposal guarantee, we were setting it at 7,000, which was the same as before, with the liquidated damages of $100 per day and a completion date of September 1st, 2017, which would be in the next fiscal year. But we're not in a huge need to have it done to force our hand that way and maybe get higher bids on account of wanting a compressed building schedule. So hopefully that would be reasonable for anybody to bid it and get it completed.
Sure. You had a question about the January 9th letting date. What's the concern about it?
Other than it's
It's a long way
quite
out.
far out.
Just
That's-
far out,
That's
okay.
that's about it. It just,
Okay.
write it down in my new day book. I can put
Right.
it in the computer.
Okay. Very good.
Is there any thoughts to moving it ahead, Dave?
I talked to just one contractor, and he actually thought it would be best, because I was thinking about, well, let's just do it now, give them a chance to do it, but it's probably too late for them to do it, get the slab poured, get a building bought. It's too late in the time frame, and they've got their current work to worry about. He thought we would get our best bids if we let it sometime in the January, February time period.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's better to let your bids or winter and then start on it in spring.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because right now, you're probably only gonna get it on someone that's gonna bid on it, ain't got no work, and there may be a reason they ain't got no work.
And the rest of the bids will be so high that,
Yeah. So this is a case to where I went with the people that know.
Sure.
It's just not me when it comes to buildings.
Yeah, I think it'd be, should get some good bids on it. It's a good location, very accessible location to work at, no demolition, pretty good lead time.
Should be able to
Plenty
get
of
our
time
pad
to work
ready.
on it.
We need to raise our pad just a little bit, put in some better soil, go get some of that clay from Galen to do it, no charge, we'll just do that ourselves.
Mhm.
Rent a compactor to pack it down. Got a soil test on it, and there's pretty good stuff below, so we could have that all prepared, ready to go, and they could examine it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So this is the public hearing. I basically wanted to get the word out that we intend to put out the 40 by 50 shed in Arcadia, about $135,000. And we've got the specs here, it'd be a steel building. We'll be doing the dirt work or some of that and the electrical. Everything else will be contracted. You heard any?
135,
Yeah.
and then will this be used for plows and things of that nature, maintenance, storage, or is this more ambulance, fire truck?
Be used for the motor grader over there, we've got a motor grader over there who runs the Arcadia territory, and that'd be the primary function.
Okay. Okay, anything else we need to talk about here in public notification, public hearing? Okay, well, it's about 9:39, I'll close the public hearing then. Then we have a resolution for the Arcadia shed letting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution 2016 for the Arcadia shed letting approval.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion's been made to approve resolution number 2016-014 for the Arcadia shed letting approval. Is there any discussion on that motion? By roll call vote, please.
Bach?
Yes.
Beardmore?
Yes.
Shepherd?
Yes.
Miners?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Motion carries. One more sign this one.
When will we decide the letting date, Dave?
It's a good question, Neil, yeah. Sometime in
It's winter. Fall.
close to December.
Late November,
Late
December.
November, December, yeah.
Okay, we got that done. Dave, you've got some other equipment discussion and the Dedham Templeton shed painting proposals. Where do you want to start there?
When we bought our Bobcat, our track loader, which we really like, looks like that. I think you've probably all seen it out and about. It's turned out to be a really good purchase. It's a T770. You can look on the chart. It's not the biggest one. It's the next to the biggest one. At that time, they mentioned that they've got a good governmental program and that we might want to look at possibly trading it between 1,000 and 2,000 hours, and I think we've got around 1,300 in that neighborhood, and we might get a real good trade value out of our old one and get into a new one for a decent figure. I don't know any of that yet, but I thought I'd ask your permission to investigate that and bring it back to you and see if it's a worthy path to pursue. We'd be looking at the same model at 770.
What number is it, a T what?
TTC 770, yeah.
You working through Haley's on this one?
Yeah, and I think they'll go with the governmental bid on that. I'm not just sure how they do that, but they seem to be pretty interested in our trade. And
Currently in the landfill board with them, we work a deal where we upgrade every year to set price.
every year, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we might want to consider. It's pretty reasonable.
So if we got there with this one, pretty soon we'd have to get after that and look at it. And
How old the loader is the one we have right now?
it's a 2012. Roughly 1,400 hours in that neck of the woods. It's been a far more useful machine than I ever imagined it to be.
It's almost like a mini bulldozer.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I just, they've been using it to finish the driveways they put in our driveways. Entrances really look very professional now, and the dirt work that they've done with it looks very professional. In fact, if we get going on the manning shouldering, we're considering using that on that, seeing how we get along with that.
Even rip wrapping under bridges, that thing's
Yeah.
coming in handy.
Yeah, it's,
Go underneath and
I don't think we want to go to the next biggest one because it's a little taller and it's a couple thousand pounds heavier. We really, for our purposes, we wouldn't gain anything by getting any larger.
Do you recall what the purchase price of this was back in 2012?
Right around 60 with the buckets. We had several buckets and whatnot. I just looked at that.
Do you have the, what kind of attachments do you have?
We've got a grapple, we've got a big snow bucket, and we've got a regular bucket, and I think we've got an auger for it too. It's for our old one. Pavement breaker that was also for our old one, but we just poured it over to this new one. If we would go to the larger machine, that would mean buying new buckets too, and we wouldn't have to buy new buckets with this one. We'd be set to go with the buckets that we have. And we don't have a milling machine. We've talked about doing that. They've got just all sorts of attachments.
So your intention is to keep all the same buckets and attachments and just upgrade the machine?
Just upgrade the machine, yeah. See what kind of costs look at it on a per hour basis and see if it seems logical. I think I remember Marty saying something at the landfill, and some others that have done that. I know some others do that with
Yeah.
different types of equipment, and,
Yeah.
rather than letting them go too far down the line.
With the landfill, we just have a wheel one right now. We upgrade every year for $5,000. We've been doing that for about 3-4 years.
And what are you upgrading?
Bobcat skid loader.
Bobcat skid loader.
And
That-
you've got your warranty, and
The only thing is that does eliminate the possibility of getting other bids. If you were to do that.
we've got quite an investment in our attachment and whatnot. So, yeah, that would be kind of a hard one to do in a way.
You mean, yeah, I wouldn't suggest, I mean, are there other Bobcat dealers?
They'd be using the state price, the
Okay.
governmental bid, so they'd all have, that would be their bid for the new one. It would be what they would allow us for a trade-in, I suspect would be the.
But would be the difference
would be
between
the
dealers.
difference Between dealers, yeah.
They probably got protected territories too, don't they?
I'm sure they do, yeah.
Just like Cat does.
Yeah.
No.
They don't?
One Bobcat, well, Lindy's in Glidden is a Bobcat dealer also, and Hazel's.
Dennison.
So your intentions are to check this out and see what kind of bid we
Yeah.
get? Okay. Any objections to that from the board? I
No.
think we reach consensus to go ahead and get the bids and see what we come up with and make the decision at that point.
Okay. We'll make it fully clear to them that that's, we're just fishing, but,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Next thing then, kind of on the same business, I think this is a picture of our belly dump, of one similar to it. It wasn't the one we got. We gave $26,000 for that in 1998. It's had some issues over the past, I'm not even just sure how many years, where it's took quite a bit of rebuilding, and I think we've got the suspension pretty decent on it right now, but the back end's in pretty tough shape. The sheet metal on the back end is in pretty tough shape. And I'm not even sure what it would cost if we take it to a shop and have it rebuilt. There's thin sheet metal back there. The other day they pushed on the rear bumper with the loader, and it just kind of cut it, just a big old slice in it. It's just rotten. It's like a rusty car or a rusty pickup box is what it is. Guys.
You didn't take this picture on Friday, did you?
No, that was after a paint overhaul.
Pretty good here.
That was the one that
What
bought
year
it
did you
new.
say we got that?
We got that in
Rebuilt.
1998.
Rebuilt.
So it's pushing 20 years old. It's 17, 18 years old. We got it from a Jorgensen truck and paid $26,000 for it. There's the original.
Did we buy it new?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
It wasn't new?
it was brand new when we bought it, yeah.
I think you'll touch it for that today.
No, I
No.
mean, would it cost twice that much today?
More
I
than
don't know.
double.
More than double?
Certain of it.
It's kind of,
60 grand.
kind of a tough one in a way, whether we ought to, replace it, have a new one, keep it, buy an old truck, have two that we could haul, buy another pup, because we're gonna have two new trucks that are well capable of pulling pups, and we've got 3 good pups and one kind of pup that's in the category of this one, with rust and not new anyway.
So this is one of two?
This is one of one. We've only got one.
You only have one?
We only have one belly dump. We've got one semi-tractor that we use for pulling our low boy and pulling the belly dump. Neil was here when we bought it, I remember.
Well, it gives another option for that tractor to do something.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're just gonna use it for pulling equipment around, that's it.
I think we're either gonna have to stick some money in this to repair it and get it fixed up and make it go a little longer, or buy a new one at some point.
Does it have any trade value as far as you know?
That's, I'm not too knowledgeable about that. And depending upon who you went with as for a dealer, whether I should pursue, I think we'd want to keep a configuration like this because it's really, you can come out with a pretty good load for hauling white rock or whatever.
Well,
legally.
you'd be better with that their configuration versus side dump,
Yes, yeah.
because side dump wouldn't do you any good for hauling on the road.
It'd be great for stockpiling, but
Yeah.
this kind of works for stockpiling. It does get stuck pretty easy, and I don't know what the difference is between this one and some of the ones the contractors run, but there's some that are always stuck in the pile when they're dumping, and others not. This one gets stuck pretty
That's
easy.
called the driver.
It's called what?
The driver.
What's the length and the capacity of that one again, Dave?
Well, I think the length is like 43 foot. It has a 22-yard capacity, which
22 yard.
if you were hauling feathers, that would be just about what you would need, but.
What weighs more? A ton of feathers or a ton of?
Ton of ground. They both.
What'd you
weigh
say,
the same.
22 yard?
22 yard, yeah. And I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't written right here on this.
Would that have some local operator value?
It might.
This is a tough decision, Dave. I have no idea what the new one would cost or what it would cost to fix that.
I don't know either. No, I asked Max this morning, well, would it cost $3,000 to fix it up? Because it's mainly sheet metal. It's almost like cutting rusty fenders off. We've actually had a piece of sheet metal that blew out of there that's kind of stiffeners and whatnot, and we don't know where it went. So it's gonna need some work. I think they fixed up the subframe and the suspension, and they've done that several times since we've had it.
But then that gets to be a point of where do you stop and start?
Yeah.
I'd say if it's 20 years old, we've gotten the good out of it.
It's kind of what I figured too. And it's, if we look over the years, it's hauled a load of gravel, and it really worked out well as far as hauling a lot of gravel. That's one that's pretty easy to
I think I've got more of a concern keeping it than I do, replacing it.
And I suspect to make it the easiest, we'd probably just put the trade in on the deal if we could find the right vendors. And I'm not really sure who the best vendors would be. This one I think was kind of inexpensively made, maybe. Wasn't top of the line. When they make them, they've got aluminum ones and they've got all sorts of different things that I'm not really sure.
That Cornhusker guy treated us pretty well on that pup.
But he did, yeah. What is that IMT? You see, I've got some advertisement for that. You see a few of those around. But I'm not sure quite where to go.
Is the frame and everything, the main structure on that, okay?
It's okay. maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 Just a good visual on it, and to see it yourself, they kind of can convince me that there's just lots of rust and whatnot. It's like fixing up an old car. Pretty soon, you got to cut a lot of metal out to get to the good stuff.
Well, I pulled up alongside of it going through town last week.
Did you
If would-
really?
Yeah, if you wouldn't let me know, I could have taken a better look at it.
Maybe use your phone, snap the picture.
He was busy texting at the time.
Yeah.
As he was driving by.
Well, the thing is, you don't want the thing to be going down the road and have it fall apart. I mean,
One day the tire came off and it went out in the field. But,
I seen one yesterday, I was glad he finally pulled off, because I was getting tired of watching him.
but I don't. I maybe I should just do a little more investigation, see, maybe call some dealers and call some truckers.
See what's working, see what no one's working.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's, like I said, it's tough for me to go one way or the other without knowing,
Yeah.
either one.
I was hoping you'd just tell me what to do, because I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, we don't know what the price, I don't know what the new prices are either on.
I'll bet Mark's right, though. I bet they're
Repair.
50, 60 grand or
More,
more. More.
think
Mark
it'll start
seems
with
to know.
close to 70.
Close to 70, huh? I think we're gonna get a governmental discount on
I
that.
don't know, we'll find out.
Don't buy it from the toilet seat company.
So, well, that's what I'll do. I'll do some more snooping around. If anybody's got any thoughts, let me know.
One other thing you'd kind of mentioned that is of interest is the fact that we're gonna have some, what's our situation for trucks and pups, as far as trucks that we will have capable of pulling pups, and how many pups will we have?
Well, we've got 3 good, reliable, newer pups. We've got one that's kind of like this. It's got some issues, but we're pulling it.
Okay.
And it's probably best for stockpiling, but we're pulling it, and I don't think there's any safety issues. And the guys are accepting the pups pretty well, so we might just as well pull them. And we should have 5 or 6 trucks, newer trucks that could pull those pups when the opportunity provides itself. There's times you don't, you know, if you're in hauling out of a pit and you only have a 5-mile haul, you might want to use a tandem truck to place gravel, turn around, everything else, because your production might be better that, but if you've got a 20-mile haul, that's a different story.
When you dump on the run on those?
Yes.
Like for the pup? Okay.
Yeah.
When you guys bought this, was it to utilize the tractor? Is that kind of the
We
reason?
bought this in the tractor. We started out with, I think we bought a lowboy, because we had an excavator, and we had a really old tractor, one that was in really bad, they called it the white elephant. That kind of gives you an idea of what it was like.
Affectionately.
But it had a lot of issues. It was like a $3,000 tractor that we had at that time. So then we bought the belly dump and this tractor at the same time from different vendors.
I guess what I'm wondering is, how old is the tractor that you have?
It's the same. It's a 98.
98.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, you're gonna wanna replace it.
Yeah.
And my thoughts are, would you, do you want to put that much, I mean, do we have the tractor primarily for the lowboy to haul equipment around?
It runs with both. That lowboy runs quite a bit. I would say that we might get 30 to 35,000 a year on that tractor, which is as good as we do with the gravel trucks and snowplow trucks.
I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know, you're probably thinking what I'm thinking, but
Well-
do we wanna, you know, maybe ease off on the truck? Because at some point in time, you're gonna replace the tractor. But if we didn't use it to pull this, you know, probably get some more miles out of it and forego the acquisition of another tractor
Well,
further down the line.
my thought was, just to give some thought, is this increase our efficiency enough that we should stick with this model as opposed to getting some more pups, which aren't as efficient on the long haul, but also have a lot more flexibility, because you've already got the
Got the truck.
got the truck.
Yeah.
So
Pups, $30,000.
That's the third option, is we could be pulling 2 more pups
Mhm.
and have one less of these.
Yeah.
But is this efficient and get used enough that we should stick with this model of semi-trailer as opposed to truck pup? Your thoughts, Dave?
I like having that lowboy, or what lowboy? that,
Belly dump.
The
Belly
belly
dump.
dump. There's times when it just works out beautifully. It'll haul 28 tons to where you'll be hauling 22 or 23 legally with a truck and a pup. But this third axle behind here allows you to take advantage of that, and you have a six-axle bridge configuration. And so it's an efficient hauler from that standpoint,
Okay.
and
Just haul more.
just haul more. If push came to shove and we didn't buy a new belly dump, I'd probably just as soon have another pup or two also, because they will use those pups. They won't get used as much mileage-wise as this will.
Okay. All right, well, that sort of answers my question.
Yeah,
With that in
it-
mind, I think you should go out and look around here a little bit for this new, another trailer.
Good.
See what we come up with.
I did plan to come to you, with the pup on down the line here this year.
Irregardless.
Irregardless, yeah.
Mhm.
And maybe even two, but I'd kind of like to go just slow with that, just to see, that we're not getting over full with pups. We've been using the ones we have, just to make sure that we get good use out of them.
Okay. All right, so our understanding now is that you're gonna go out and get some bids on a different trailer. Okay, we'll see what you bring back there.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on secondary roads, Dave?
Just this painting contract.
10 o'clock call,
Oh, yeah, we're,
They're running behind, it'll be 10:15, 10.
okay.
Okay,
Good,
good.
give me 14 more minutes.
I had this painting contractor that does paint metal sheds,
Yes.
look at both the Templeton and the Dedham shed. We probably have 5 sheds that we could paint. Thought, well, this would be a good shot to give a try on these two, or one of these two, especially the Templeton. It's probably one of our oldest and worst looking sheds.
We've had painting like this done in the past, haven't we? Haven't we? thought we had
I don't
some
remember
sheds.
anything.
No.
The Dedham's gonna be strictly white only, roof and everything?
Yeah,
And this one's gonna be light gray roof and white?
Yeah.
Sidewalk. Why the difference?
quite a bit of rust on that one there, and just to make it look a little better.
Okay.
I thought we had hired some of that done before.
Not that I recall.
Okay.
He's gonna wash them, power sprayer, paint's real chalky, and treat them, prime them, and then spray them with some Sherwin-Williams that he feels is appropriate. I think he's done most of Green County's sheds. They're very satisfied with him. That's where I got the contact. We've got one in Litterdale, one in Mount Carmel, and then one in Arcadia that we're gonna replace, that are of the same vintage, that all look the same. They all look like they're about 7 years old, which they are. The Dedham shed was built, I think, in 1970, and I think the Templeton shed was maybe built in 48 or 49, what I have in my records.
Is there paint on them right now, or is it, what's on them right now?
I think there's paint on the Templeton one, the way it appears, and on the Dedham one, I think it's just the steel.
Steel.
The galvanized steel.
Galvanized steel.
Yeah, it appears like it's galvanized on the roof, and the sidewalls are just strong panel like painted one. They're blue and white there in Dedham. We're just gonna paint it a single color, paint it white.
So is there any kind of guarantee or anything like that as far as peeling or?
Oh, I don't know, it sounds like they're getting long life out of it. I know Wade's been doing it for quite a few years, and
Okay.
he's quite satisfied.
And Dave, this is somebody that had approached us, or we approached them?
I approached them after talking to Wade.
To Wade. My only concern would be, here just a couple weeks ago, we had a local business that expressed a concern of not getting a shot
Mhm.
at things, and so that would be my concern with it.
Yeah, and I don't know, given, we'd want somebody that has done this before.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm
Mhm.
after.
Absolutely.
I've done that, went with some people that haven't done projects in the past, or.
Right, but that ties into, Dean's question about warranty.
Mhm.
I mean, if they've got some experience with it and what their warranty is.
Okay, we've got a bid here, and
We have a proposal.
Proposal. We've got a concern expressed. What's the wishes of the board?
Well, I do think we need to do something on them, because they're all getting a little kind of tough. And I don't know of anybody else that does that type of work.
I don't know either. This seems to be one of their specialties, and,
Because I think spraying those big buildings is a cat of its own.
Is this there's a company that goes around and sprays grain bins.
He's out of Missouri.
He's out of Missouri.
I had him stop in my yard last week.
Really?
Had some leftover paint and make you a deal? Got some
Yeah, I don't.
leftover asphalt too?
I don't know how you make the playing field even on this. I don't know how you
You
go out and
you
look
just
for
can't
somebody else.
do it
you
all
know?
the time, and
Yeah.
maybe somebody will surface, and there's 3 more to do, and maybe we can give them a
We
shot.
approve this, I'll guarantee you someone will surface if we approve this today, and they'll not be happy. I can't imagine it not. Maybe I'm wrong. Shouldn't be so cocky, but.
Can you put something in the paper as far as requesting a bid on something like this? And then at least you've covered, I don't know.
You
I don't
know,
know.
they put a Sherwin-Williams product on it. Why can't we call Sherwin-Williams and say, do you know anybody around here that does that sort of thing? Of all the contractors these guys use, is there anybody that does this sort of work? I mean, it's one phone call.
It's got a portfolio maybe to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and say, all right, well, let's call Tom, Dick, and Harry. And if they're not interested, then,
Okay.
but,
We made the effort.
yeah, we had someone that was pretty upset with us here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Made the news. I would suggest doing the same thing. Pardon?
I missed that meeting, I wasn't
Yeah.
here for that.
Is there a time frame on this that you want to know by?
He wants to know pretty soon,
He
yeah.
can get
It's
this, he can
fall
get this
work.
done this fall, yeah.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
fall work.
he's pretty busy, yeah, so he
Okay.
says he needs to know soon. I'll do just what Mark said.
Am I the only one that feels that way?
No,
No, I
think it's a good idea, Mark.
agree with you there. I sure don't wanna, if there's somebody out there locally that can do it and wants to put a bid in, has the same credentials, and it's,
We haven't named any numbers here yet, so
No,
it's
it's
still
good.
no,
confidential, so. I would start, and I'll make the call for you if you will.
No.
Well, either that, if he wants to, you go out and make a call. We got some other stuff here. If he comes up with something that he finds out there isn't, then come back in. Could be just that
I
quick,
mean,
too.
we've got some painting contractors here in the county that do a lot of work.
And I know some of them, too, but I'm gonna guarantee you the one I'm thinking of, you ain't gonna see him for a long time.
Well, and that might be the case.
Let's present the opportunity.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's
Yeah.
present the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's
and then
why.
he probably wouldn't even put a bid in then.
No.
Right.
And I
Well-
think what you suggest he calls out Sherwin-Williams, he can probably do that. And if they don't give you any contracts, come back in here.
Yeah,
We made the effort.
I
We
might
made
just
the
drive
effort.
right out there and just go talk to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we're meeting Tuesday. The week isn't that
Yeah,
good.
the next meeting is on
But I can see where he's,
about it.
I can see the
At least
point
we
where
tried.
if he wants to get it done, if they wanna do it this fall, he needs to know pretty soon. I can
Yep,
see
yep.
that, because we're getting
Yep.
down here,
Yeah.
face it.
Yeah.
We're
Another
getting
week
hit.
it's fall.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good, Dave?
You bet, sounds great.
Anything else?
All right.
All right, thank you.
I don't think so.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Oh, I do. You were talking about that shouldering. Have you talked to them people lately on dirt?
I have, yeah,
There's still dirt there yet?
yeah.
I mean, I drove out there Friday and there's a lot of it's been moved.
They called me,
Oh, did they?
yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, hopefully they don't use it all.
okay. Because I called your office Friday and you were gone, and that's the reason I was gonna let you know.
We probably got, I don't know, another week or two of gravel hauling. We wanna make sure we get that done. maybe even longer than that, then we'll go at it.
Okay, so you still plan on doing it? Good. I think it's an opportunity we need to grab. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you too,
Dave.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave, appreciate it. Okay, so we're waiting for our call for the conference call from Green County. They're running a little bit behind. Let's look at our FY17 salaries, and if we get a call come in, we will stop for that. I will mention that I had one request from the public, a little bit unique, that in addition to publishing the dollar amounts, that we footnote that to say that this does not include other insurance, et cetera, benefits. And I think I didn't know how to answer that request. There's two sides of it. One, we can't edit everything that we do for each member of the public, or we'd have a whole stuff on it. And on the other side of it is, I think the request was made because they think, because it could be a little bit deceptive in saying, well, here's what it costs to have an employee, and there should be a footnote that says it actually costs more because of other benefits. So,
We don't publish it, we publish this at the end of the year,
yeah,
so we don't even publish this now.
okay. So when we do publish this, I think that's something we would give some thought to.
Yeah, right now, it's just
We're just
basically
approving
a
them.
well, when we publish it now, we'll just
Oh,
publish
didn't have
a
it in
list,
there.
just like the city does,
Mhm.
all the names and the
So is
totals.
that what we're gonna approve?
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I
this
mean, I
would
wouldn't
have
think
been
it'd take
actually
much to
due
put
to the
something
compensation
as a
rule,
side note.
But I saw that too, I gotta check. He's got everything else right, but that's actually already pre-approved through the compensation board. But he didn't have that in there. I saw
Well,
it too, I just had it,
Yeah, I just see some 68.
yeah, somebody penciled it in, but again, there's no total there, so.
Right.
Yeah, I got to.
Okay,
Did you
so.
see that?
Sure.
What's that?
Back. All right, well, I'll come back to that. We've got the salaries here, and we've got lists on each of them, and it's, we need to approve it. Are there some concerns?
No,
I'm okay
there's-
with that.
Yeah, and the auditor's office does go through each and every one of them and make sure it doesn't exceed the 2.6 or any other special,
Yep.
accommodations we made for it, so, I'm satisfied with it. I appreciate you putting it on the agenda for today too.
Okay. All right.
There's
Then,
kind of some overtime issues, which I'd mentioned to each and every one of you before, but that's beside the point here.
okay.
Yeah, that doesn't have.
That's
any-
another
that-
matter.
yeah.
Right.
So if there's no objections or other questions, I'd go ahead and make a motion to approve the fiscal year 17 wages,
Salaries?
salaries.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the FY17 salaries. Any discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Call for question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried.
Thanks again, Courtney.
Approve the
Are you an aye,
FY17.
Marty, are you
Marty,
an aye for approving?
Did you want to vote on the
salaries?
FY17 salaries? We just voted on
I
that.
can do an aye.
Okay.
You know, all right, we'll include you on that, I think. Okay. Back to the comment I made, what are the thoughts of the board? And Marty, I had a request from the member of the public that when we do publish these, we put a footnote that says that this is just the gross dollar amount, does not include other costs, insurance benefits, that type of thing. They requested to put that in, and the reason they requested it, I feel, is that they wanted the public to know that this person is actually costing more of their tax dollars than that. And on the other side of it, we could have 100 different requests from the public on how they want this published and what we're gonna tweak and do everything like that. So that was the request, and I thought I'd bring it up to the board for their thoughts. What are the thoughts of the board?
Well, when you say this is somebody's salary, that's their salary, and it's kind of that there's other costs and benefits associated with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know in the footnote where you'd stop. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
you've got overtime, you've got holidays, you've got comp, you've got
Sick.
longevity, you've got, which longevity's included in here, but you've got
What kind of
uniforms, you've got.
Papers, you've got different classes.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
the
that's
thing
just-
is, and then the thing is, you
Where do you
don't stop
stop?
it. Yeah, where do you stop? And the thing is, if they wanna know any further information, it's always available, they can come up to the auditor's office and find out.
Yeah. I think if we would decide to do it, it would have to be pretty general, that this is just the dollar amount paid to the employee, does not include other benefits, period.
Period.
Because if you try to include other benefits, different people have different benefits. You mentioned clothing, uniforms, not everybody has that benefit, so. If this decision doesn't need to be made today, but before we publish them, if someone feels that we should add that comment or some type on there to alert the public that this is not total cost, let's have that discussion again.
We are by code
Required-
required
once a
to
year.
publish.
Once a year.
And so we're required by code to publish the salaries.
Correct.
Yes,
And that's all we're doing.
I've had
Publishing
requests from
salaries.
employees that say, okay, you're required to publish salaries, but can you put it with a code or something like a social security number? Not exactly that, so our name isn't there? No, the code says name and salary, so.
So I guess I don't feel obligated that we need to
I wish the
disclose
code
anything
said-
else.
I wish the code said that you could publish maybe by department. I don't know that each individual person's name and salary needs to be published, but it'd be nice if it was, the sheriff's department was this salary, you know.
Okay,
Is that
all right.
argument for another time?
Before we, yeah, there we go. Manure management, annual updates, we have three of them here. Joe Danner has a 4-year manure management plan. He's updated his soils and P indexes. Nestle and Nestle, Site 1, Section 32, Arcadia Township is using manure analysis. And Dennis Reesburg, Section 19, Roselle Township, there's no changes. Those are our manure management. Mr. Courtney, thank you. Let's start our committee reports as we await for the phone to ring, and when it rings, we'll just discontinue and pick up at that time. Who would like to start today? Dean?
I can.
Thank you.
Let's see here.
Must be interesting.
I had the Region 5 Hazmat meeting on Tuesday morning, and it was, the biggest thing that came out of that was they're seeking grant dollars, and one of the EMTs from one of the counties suggested the ICAP grant funds that are available, $1,000, that if your county's not using it, you know, you can use it for hazmat suits or whatever they, you know, so you can direct those funds that way. I think that was one comment that they made. There is going to be a discussion on raising rates to the counties. I think they're probably going to increase them by 25%.
So go to $1.25 per head.
Yeah.
Man, that's not gonna sit well with my guys.
And the rates haven't been raised in 23 years. So I think that's what so they are going to have a meeting with the executive board and try to come up with an idea there as far as where they want to go with those rates. Other than that, there was some discussion again about Tony's Tire, and I'm not going to beat that because they beat it to death. That's Tony's Tire. And we had the
I missed that one altogether.
Tony's Tire.
Yeah.
Remember that was the guy that was just happened along or he was the first responder?
He's got a
To that
hazmat
spill.
unit up in Webster City, and he just calls, I reported on that. He just shows up at, whenever there's a semi-spill or something like that, he'll put a bucket underneath the leak, 5-gallon bucket, and then he'll charge you $20,000 to do it.
Okay, yeah. You did tell us about that.
Yeah,
The
they sent.
name didn't connect with the.
Yeah,
thing, but-
they did send a letter to the Attorney General, and it was, unless it actually comes from a county attorney, the Attorney General's office probably wouldn't even look at it. So I think they're working on that, because they never got a response from the Attorney General's office. And, you know, unless there's fraud involved, I don't think that, you know, and I guess that would be fraud, I mean, but.
Did what he said he was gonna do.
Tony's tired of the pawn shop.
Pretty much.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay.
Thanks, Dean.
That was pretty much the hazmat meeting. Then we had, the strategic planning meeting at Region 12. Then on Thursday, we had a 50th anniversary meeting. I think that went pretty well. I think there's quite a bit of enthusiasm about the coins. We're still trying to determine how we're going to go about. Actually, I think it's going to be a successful program where I don't think, you know, it's going to cost the county anything. I think there's going to be money coming back into the county because of this. But it's how we handle the funding in a question that the state auditors won't question how we're going to do that.
The legalities of it.
Yeah.
So has that been decided? I think it's important too that we determine where the money goes, who controls it, the legitimacy of it.
Can I say one thing? Regarding the hearing for the conference call for the drain, they're doing a hearing right now. It could take another 45 minutes. So we can either reschedule that or
Yeah.
do it next Monday.
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, or
Tuesday.
Yeah, let's plan on next Tuesday then.
Okay, let me run out. I'll just tell Joanne that.
Do our committee reports.
Otherwise, I want Courtney to kind of address that. But otherwise, the 50th anniversary is coming together fairly well. I think we have all our speakers in line. Trying to think if there's anything new that we really actually discussed, or just follow up. The time capsule, I don't know if we mentioned this the last time, the time capsule will actually be opened at the supervisors meeting on October 17th, that Monday morning.
Right?
And it'll probably be at the end, towards the end of the meeting, because the contents of the time capsule, we would like to leave here on the table for display. And then on the 21st, we will put the new items into the time capsule to be opened at a date.
St. Cloud uses the same time capsule.
Well, you know, I guess that was.
The guy in charge of the time capsule's been MIA, so we still don't know for sure. We will know.
You know, and that's not a bad option. I mean, you could use the same time capsule.
I'm just not, the other one, they actually cut it open like a can. I don't know if this has a lid on it, you know, that'd be
Let's-
great
can-
if it did.
can we take
Or
it-
do we have to cut it open?
Can we take it down and kind of take a look at it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I tried to, I'm not tall enough to.
Okay, maybe I'll do that today. That's probably something we need to do.
Just for discussion,
Stick a
put
dime.
like a 2015 penny on the inside, see if anybody catches on, yeah.
And as far as the funding, you guys were kind of talking about that. I talked to Mark on Friday and I
Yeah.
emailed the state auditor. I did not hear back from her yet.
Okay.
So,
That's
once I
fine. I
get
just-
confirmation from her, we can talk about it again. And I'm guessing it'll probably be the general fund.
Okay.
But
It's still a great idea, I like the idea, but I
Yeah.
just really want to make sure that we're doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
a little unique.
What we are going to do, and I don't think we discussed this the last time, was we decided to go with a silent auction. And so actually, if you are interested in any coins from 100, from 1966 to the present date, that commemorative coin will look, it'll look like this, but it'll have limited edition on it, and it'll have the year date on it. So it'll be 1966 or, and those are what's going into the auction. And so, what Cindy is going to take care of that, and she will, anybody interested in purchasing a coin, a specific date, year date, it'll be just a silent auction. We'll have a page on that year. You can put a bid in. You have to pre-register with your name, address, or contact information, and you'll be assigned a number. So whenever you bid, you put a number down on that bid sheet.
And you'll be able to check updates in there,
Mhm.
bid.
Minimum bid is $10, so it'll start at 10 and then go from there. The closing of the auction will be on October 21st at noon. That would be the date of the function here in the courthouse. As far as the other coins, the 1 through 3,000, she does have an order form. I turned one in already this morning. And you can go ahead, and as long as nobody has purchased that coin, you can have dibs on that coin. So, say like for instance, I don't know, a specific date that stands out in your lifetime, say 1985, 85 or say, you know, if you wanted that particular coin, that year date, you know, you could go in and ask. You could go ahead and fill out a sheet. You would have first dibs on that because you were presented that if it was not already spoken for.
Yeah, and that's on the county website, so, and on the Facebook page. And then I think she was going to get it sent to the paper maybe, and the newspaper, just so everybody's aware that if they're interested in a coin, they can pre-order them.
Okay. You're taking care of the 3,000, or is Cindy taking care of everything? So I'm not sure
The
on that.
50 that are part of the silent auction will be in a safe, and the other 3,000 we will take care of. She's gonna handle the
But I mean,
pre-orders.
she's gonna handle the pre-orders. She's
Yeah.
taking care of all the paperwork then.
It's my understanding that she
Okay.
is, yes.
So you go to the assessor's office then for both of these.
And I'm hoping it just continues to stay over there.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be getting
You're
busy
gonna be
here with
you're
people
gonna be
voting.
plenty
and-
busy, yeah.
Yeah, but either the auditor or the assessor in the future.
Any questions on that?
And what is he gonna sell a regular coin for?
$10.
$10.
Yeah, they look pretty, I think they look pretty nice, I think.
And they'll come in a plastic, like a hard plastic case.
Okay, sounds good, Dean.
Yep, we have another meeting set for 2 weeks,
The 8th.
so keep pressing. Should be a neat thing, great thing for the county. That was my week. I don't have anything except dentist appointments this week, I guess.
I won't attend any of your meetings for you then. Okay, Gene, go ahead.
First of all, I'll bring up my calendar because I'm gonna have to cover 2 weeks here, so. On 2 weeks ago Tuesday, I had policy council meeting, and it was a quite, there you can see a lot of documentation, lengthy meeting, but it was one where we set up, went through the health and safety classroom programs. There was only one small issue there, and that was covered and taken care of. They had a school readiness report and also a self-assessment report. They were satisfied with both of those. Actually, some of the readiness and the self-assessment came with high remarks. Reported on a parent leadership conference that's going on in Des Moines on October 22nd. We did have grant approvals that we approved, the Early Head Start Center-Based Expansion Grant. We're trying to expand a 12-kid slot in Carroll, 12 in Jefferson, and 12 in Perry. And then also we're looking for 2016, 2017 Head Start, Early Head Start continuation grant. And that is also for some updates in equipment and facilities. Then after that, we got into all the other paperwork, which is the 2016-17 Head Start and Early Head Start work plans, the disability plans and school readiness plans and community family engagement plan, and also the T&TA plans. Just a lot of documentation, but those are the plans that they operate from, that tell them what they do and who's going to do it and who's doing the follow-up and all that. So that was done then. And then on the following Friday, I had the Yes Center, and was also a very good meeting. We did have the insurance people talk to us, and their insurance is, I can't remember, it's going up like 10%, I think, if I remember right. I think that's what it was, yeah, on their health insurance. And we did, looking at making some changes on our policy and procedures, and that's in regard to transportation. We've had some issues with turning off the Ubner, what do they call them? So unit where they can report back to, like Cheryl, how fast the car's going.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't got the right word here, I can't read my writing here now. But anyway, we're looking at, there's some, where they'll be fired or whatever, and so that's what we're looking at, some policy change there. The average for the month, we had 11 kids in there, averaged for the month. 5 of those were BIAs. And I mean, things are going very well up there. And they've had some issues with, well, I should say it's going real well, but we've had some kids up there again have been very tough to deal with. And so that goes for them. And I think that was part of the reason someone requested a visit with Joe.
I'm gonna bring that up. North Central Iowa, is that where Tony's from? Tony Reed called from North Central. He wanted to be on our agenda today and give us, or sometime, and give us a sales pitch on his thing. So I called Gene, and Gene and I thought that it would be a total waste of his time to meet with us. And however, if we changed our mind or needed his services, we would get in touch with him. So that's the response that we gave him. But if, I know also we've discussed letting anybody be on their agenda at any time, and I think that was more in line with our people here in Carroll County as opposed to salespeople. So I'm just bringing that up because Gene and I agreed that that's the way we feel, but if you guys 3 feel that he should be on our agenda and hear his sales pitch, we'll call him and have him in. Any want
Oh, I
to
think I
do
know
that,
which
we'll
one
do
you're
it.
talking about.
Or, okay, all right. So that's your point of information, decision made that could be changed, okay?
I did speak to him, and he said that he had local people that felt that we should be looking other places too. And I said, if that's the case, then they can contact the board members. One was
Well,
certainly
there's some other stuff that I kind of think sparked this off. I found out later on. Tina, I think, was trying to do a little favor of somebody that was coming back here to court was trying to route them that way. It was going to be, because where they were going to go afterwards eventually was going to be that direction, and thought they would route them, and then he thought he was going to charge us, I heard $450 a day, unless we became a member, and I think that's what sparked it all off. So okay, anyway, then this last week I went on jail tours. We went down to Atlantic and to Greenfield. You know, Atlantic was probably a good jail at one time, but I think they're going to have the same issues we are with the classification.
Someday.
I think that's gonna be an issue there too. Then we went to Greenfield, that's a newer facility, that's a standalone facility away from the courthouse. It is also, they utilize, it's the offices for the sheriff and the city police, and their jail is built into a horseshoe. I had some issues that there they do not have 24/7 jailers, that there's a point during the night that just the comm center watches them. And the thing is that actually, for most of those jail sites, the comm center has his back towards the jails, except for only way his visual is through the TV monitors. And the other problem I seen there was the city was getting one hell of a deal. And
What
that's,
county is that, Greenfield?
Adair County.
Adair.
And Atlantic is Cass County.
so,
Now, the thing with having comm center people look over inmates is that they have to be a certified jailer, correct?
well, I think they're supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, they have to be certified. So the cost is just getting a certification annually and that, because I looked at what our comm center salaries are compared to our jailers, and they make more money than our jailers do. So I
Right.
guess the cost would be the classes and keeping
Well-
them certified or
My-
whatever.
My problem is, well, I'm gonna say it. If you got a jailer there and he's watching the communication person, and he's also watching the jail at the same time on his off hours, and all of a sudden he has an issue that's going on in a jail, and he gets a call from a constituent within the county that is having a serious medical issue and needs attention right now, he's got his hands full. And yet this guy that's in jail may be the nastiest guy in the world, and you're supposed to stop and take care of him too, and take care of this guy at first. I have an issue with that.
You can't be at two places at one
No.
time.
No.
And, but that's beside the point. And then on Friday, was with Roseanne Neese. We did 2 business retention visits in Manning, one at the First National Bank, and then the other one at AGP, soybean processing plant. And that was my week. And this week, I think, the only thing I've got right now is Thursday, I and Ken Pingree have been invited to the Coon Rapids Rotary to talk about the jail tours. So, I told them they're not gonna know any more than what I know now, so.
All right, thank you. Lee? Marty?
Wednesday, we had the county planning meeting, and you guys were all there, so you pretty much know what went on there. And then also signed
Yeah,
checks.
you were there.
I forgot about that.
Signed checks at Region 12. Then on Friday, I got a couple calls on secondary roads issues just east of Carroll here on 190th Street. Couple guys, it was kind of rainy, and they were hauling cattle manure with side dumps and pulling it back on the road. And so I got a couple of complaints there I need to visit with Dave a little bit about. And other than that, that was pretty much my week. And then Thursday, I don't have anything this week, except I'm on the same page with Dean on the dentist, but I'll trade him appointments. So that's all I got this week.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Marty. Go ahead, Mark.
Wednesday, attended the county planning with Presto View. And then on Friday, I attended the City of Carroll City Manager Meet and Greet. And they have 3 finalists. It's my understanding that they did their interviews on Saturday and they made a decision, is my understanding, and then apparently tonight they'll announce it. That's my understanding of it, at least. This week, I have EMA, E911 on Thursday, so they're gonna be very interested in this region surcharge.
Yeah.
And then I don't have a dentist appointment with college football season begins Saturday.
Okay.
That's my week.
Okay. This week, Monday afternoon, we had the Carroll County Case Management Advisory Board meeting. We had our, as a formality, we elected officers. Crispin Lunsman was elected the president. We had case management staff updates, and the important things there was the introduction of our new employee, Katie Lennon. We got the satisfaction surveys back. They were very, very good. And then they have a performance improvement plan which they've established. They did an update on manager care transition, and they noted that 2 years ago, there was 123 clients, 1 year ago, 136, and at the day of the meeting, there's 140. So all our fears of everybody going somewhere else is actually changed, because there's actually some new clients that they're taking in for other things. They did caseload updates. Everybody is in the high 30s, 36, 38, 37. Justin has 29, and so the caseloads are getting more manageable. Okay, Tuesday, I don't know what I need to add to the jail tour that Gene and I went on to Cass and Adair counties. I know we're learning things. We've learned from 2 counties that their Sally Port isn't big enough that they can't get an ambulance and a stretcher off. It's kind of unique that Cass County is really a pretty darn busy jail. It's a 24-bed jail, and it's practically all full. And the reason why is interstate traffic. Highway patrol stops people there, take them to the jail. The interstate highway is big, causes big business there. Adair County is a 14-bed facility, and they've always got plenty of room. Not very busy there at all. Both of them wish they'd had a padded cell for some of the people they take in that just as soon do damage to themselves, but they can't damage anything else. And a few other little things we learned about what we should or should not do as we go forward with our jail project. But Gene covered the rest of it very well. County planning meeting. I guess I'm not going to report anything else since we're all there. I just want to say I appreciate the fact that all the supervisors were in attendance at the meeting. Otherwise, anything I tell you, you've already heard there, so I won't give any more there.
Where are we at going forward with that?
Where are we going forward? Rick and I talked about that. We need to set a next meeting date, and my thought was, since we've had 2 meetings and kind of hit the generalities, we have further apart. The request from the group was to have the next one a little closer to the one we just had, to have them more condensed. So we need to set up a meeting date. So that needs to be done. And Rick and I and this board needs to decide when to meet next. Rick also thought that it might be a good idea to get a little more specific, get into down to the granular level a little bit more. We've been talking more in generalities about certain things, and maybe getting down down to the bottom of things. But I don't know, am I answering your question on where are we at on this thing?
Yeah, I guess.
Or do you have some concerns that?
Well, I mean, we can keep having these meetings.
Mhm.
Or is there gonna be is there gonna be a final meeting where we pull everything together and we have a strategic plan going forward, I guess? I mean, I don't know, I guess I don't exactly know
Yeah.
where the goal is on this, and, is there gonna be a break point where we're gonna be done, or?
My feeling was we were kind of play it by ear, and at this time, it seems that there's enough new stuff coming up in the county. Like, since we started this, we've had the driver's license, we've had Mallard View, we've had a lot of other things come up, that maybe we will continue this for quite some time, but maybe not have them quite as close together. What's the board's thoughts?
I kind of think this next meeting, we should kind of pull things together and kind of make decisions where we're gonna go. But I would say after that, maybe come back in 3-4 months, maybe, after we get done with budget, and then revisit it again.
Okay. Sounds like a fair enough idea. Any other thoughts? When would you like to have the next meeting? That's around that.
I guess I thought, once we get the final one here, we just do it annually.
Yeah.
Maybe do an annual one. I don't know if it has
Let's,
drug
should we,
out that long.
let's bring that very same question up at the next meeting. How, at the next meeting, we'll try to pull things together, and I'll tell the group, as a group, is this important enough for interdepartmental communication that we should keep having this? Are we gonna have department head meetings that's gonna take care of this? What should we look at going forward? Does that sound reasonable?
Yep.
Because I think some of these things are gonna be, we're gonna have to have meetings, I think. Whether we have jail meetings or Malibu meetings, or I think we're gonna have to have those, you know.
Key topics.
Yeah, key topics going forward, and they might be spin-offs of what we're doing right now.
When I visit with Rick here, I'll call him about the RFP. I'll inform him that we'd like to have this next meeting be a pulled-together meeting. And then we will also discuss with the group what we'd like to do moving forward. Communication's so important, I hate to drop it, but
Yep,
how often you
that's
have
good.
meetings, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Does that sound reasonable?
Mhm.
All right, when would be a reasonable time to have the next meeting then? I'll have to work with Rick on the exact date.
Yeah, to get
I'm thinking like a month from now or something like that. Like first part of October.
I'd like to try to get it done before that, because when we get in field work, I won't be around.
Okay. A little earlier
See,
than
we had
Maybe third or last week in September, maybe.
late September?
That's what I would say.
Okay. We'll shoot for that, something like the 22nd or the 29th, probably the 29th, I would say.
That sounds good.
All right. I
Okay,
think
we'll
we've-
fill up fast.
All right, we'll see how that works for Rick and get back to you on that. All right, anything else on planning? All right, very good. Okay, what else? Set up the Mallard View meeting, which y'all were aware of, which is gonna be the 8th of September. And working with Courtney a little bit. Courtney's been doing all the work though, but has to do with the employee benefits. She has got a program that will list the total earnings paid by the employee, or paid to the employee and paid by the employer. That shows a pretty good comparison of what benefits that the employees get. And she wanted to know what I thought of, and I think it's great. I would like to include some other things in that letter that basically, instead of just saying, here's the facts, started out with an opening statement saying something to the fact that, you know, as an employee, you're greatly appreciated and we want you to be well informed on what your benefits are. And perhaps list some of the other benefits that aren't listed there in dollars, like many of the employees get, some of them we talked today, uniforms, et cetera, et cetera. They get how many days off on 9 days of paid holidays, those things. And then at the end, kind of wrap it up with another thank you. But I also think that this type of letter could also be used as an employment tool. So if we're hiring somebody in a certain position and they go, what does it pay? And we say, well, it pays $37,000, but look at this, here's someone who makes 37, and look at the other benefits that potential employees would know what additional benefits the counties offer as a recruitment tool. So Courtney and I are kind of working on that, and when we get it pretty good, we're gonna shoot it by the rest of the board for your input before we send it out.
Perfect.
Okay. And then, that was it, other than the Tony Reed thing. This week is a light week. I've got a radio program, a newspaper. Of course, I'm gonna call Rick on the RFP and all that. And just a reminder, next meeting is Tuesday. Okay.
I would like to go back, completely skipped that last Wednesday when we had the community planning session, but also on that day I went out to New Opportunities and we did look at truck bids with Chad, and we
They're
did
basically done.
accept the truck bid for New Opportunities, so.
Okay. All right, we're good. Okay, anything else we need to discuss? That concludes our agenda. Any comments from those in attendance? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.